prepared PowerPoint. And taking cue from Dr. Aguilar, since this is, a gathering of all sorts of. This one is unique also. This is not a finished product. This is a project proposal. This is a research proposal. Since the IFP alumni will have a planning tomorrow. So they will plan, I think, and we will include this one as the one to be considered with the alumni. A research proposal. And this research, I think, is very important, given the fact that what's going on in Mindanao and what's going on in the world. I'm talking about the conflict. Of course, you all know what's happening in Mindanao up to now. And I'll just give you the context. I'll just read to you one author, many authors, I think. There are two authors mentioned about Mindanao. And I quote, today, Mindanao problem has become increasingly complex, according to Khan, in his book published in 2003. And another author says, its history has involved an array of interests, including foreign powers, the state, secessionists, revolutionaries, cults, politicians, land robbers, bandits, and renegades, all attempting to enforce their political and economic objectives through the barrel of a gun. Add to these actors recently is that dreaded Abu Sayyaf terrorist group believed by the military to be connected with the global terrorist network of Osama bin Laden and the Jamia Islamiyah. Of course, Mindanao is a major performer and a primary contributor to the country's productive capacities. But it is development characterized by exploitation, where dominant classes, distant elites, and rapacious transnational corporations deplete the island's resources, leaving the majority of the population in poverty. This is according to Castillo and not me. So this is the context of Mindanao, and there are many initiatives to solve the problems of Mindanao. Of course, we cannot say that one solution is enough. So there are lots of solutions. One of these is the peace resolution, peace, what they call this in the conflict resolution and management. And there are also initiatives like peace building efforts and initiatives, because the word Mindanao is that of protracted war. So peace building is connected with peacekeeping, peacemaking, etc., etc. So there are many initiatives. On the part of the government, the initiative, of course, after Marcos was overthrown, the democratic space, and one of the democratization processes that have been taken is to consider the peaceful solution to the Mindanao conflict. So there are, of course, started initiatives by Cory Aquino, and there was this dialogue conducted between, of course, the then President Aquino and Mishwari. And the peace agreement concluded during the time of Ramos. And up to now, they are still fighting in Mindanao. So this is the context of Mindanao. I don't have to mention to you, but it's in my review of literature, the additional data in terms of what is this, affected families, data, statistics data. So all of these initiatives, ranging from what do you call this, material, physical, infrastructures, etc., intervention in terms of giving solutions to the Mindanao conflict, a range of interventions from material, physical, rehabilitation to non-material, the abstract, the social, psychosocial intervention, and to intention to rebuild the affected communities in Mindanao. So what is this research is all about? Is to research a unique experience of all these experiences in Mindanao in terms of peacemaking, peacekeeping, and peace building efforts. One, a unique experience started since before the declaration of martial law, initiated by one priest by the name of Father Sebastiano de Ambra. And this one is a unique experience in community, engaging people with different cultures, different background, different, of course, the indigenous people, the Muslims and the Christians. This is because history has been creating the so-called social construct because of the wars, the conflicts, the structural violence. This is creating a negative mindset in the minds, of course, and the hearts of the people in Mindanao. And from this, a social construct created expressions, manifestations through attitudes, behaviors, perceptions of each other community in terms of relation. So this initiative is initiated by one priest, and of course, slowly moving, and then now it is now called a movement, the Sencil dialogue movement, involving Muslims, Christians, and Lumad, and this is one of the, I see as peace building, one of the peace building initiatives in Mindanao. So this is the highlight of the research because this is, of all the interventions in Mindanao, I think this should be highlighted because this is a unique one, this is a unique experience, and can be, one way or the other, can complement the overall peaceful resolutions of peace initiatives in Mindanao. And not only that, I think this one can be, of course, in terms of implication, we can, I think, give this as one eye-opener, what's going on in the world, that we even give us idea on how to see the problems and how to solve it. Especially I'm talking about this clash of civilization, use the word of someone Huntington. Because culture and religion has been used, of course, to some, this religion has been used to justify. But then again, some others say that we see problems every these problems of land grabbing, like in Mindanao, but then you see land grabbing beneath the culture. So we have to see that one. So this research will highlight the present conceptual framework. Okay, that's the conceptual framework. Of course, we all know the decades old common advancement or insurgencies and factors created tremendous effects in the hearts and minds of people, where social divide, fear, mistrust, misunderstanding, and prejudices are the common language among the people, especially the day-to-day relations. This political violence and other structural violence have complex psychological and social effects. Psychological effects means, of course, you all know this, but it's just a reminder, those experiences that affect emotions, behaviors, thoughts, memory, and learning ability, and how a situation may be perceived and understood. This is according to, of course, Lowry and Ager, cited in Puzon. Social effects refer to how diverse experiences of war alter people's relationships to each other. This understanding of the interconnectedness and interrelatedness of the psychological and social effects of armed conflicts. Can you turn on the lights? It's only one slide there. Thank you, Glenn. Where are we? Interconnectedness and relatedness of the psychological and social effects of armed conflict form the core beliefs of organization doing psychological, psychosocial, rehabilitation work. This means deconstructing the social construct brought about by the said causes. money can react on this one from the sociological point of view. This is where peace building efforts came, ranging from peace education, peace campaign, and advocacy to direct community interventions like relief and medical missions, and program and project implementation, and to more clinical intervention, the so-called psychosocial rehabilitation. This social construct has been compounded by the purist, absolutist, salvation, exclusivist religious orientation, where extremism and fanaticism thrive, as Samuel Huntington argues in his book, of course, disputed book. Religious orientation where extremism. According to Huntington, argues in his book, The Clash of Civilization and the Remaking of the World Order, that violence would erupt along religious or cultural differences. Along this, anticipating its global effect, of course, their leaders proposed to the United Nations that the UN should declare 2001, and it was declared as the year of inter-civilizational dialogue. And of course, there are many other offered solutions to the Mindanao conflict, the Philippines starting from the President Aquino to the present, and the subsequent emergence of the peace movement in the country. And many other non-state actors played a role in finding peaceful solutions to the conflict in Mindanao, ranging from peacemaking and peacekeeping to the peace-building efforts both institutional and grassroots community level. This social construct has been shaped by the historical conflict in Mindanao, the war, the violence, and other structural violence, and of course the absolutist religious orientation that at times created cults and now terrorism. The social construct is the independent variable from my research, as you can see. The first one, okay, the religious absolutism. The effects of the social construct find manifestation in attitudes, perceptions, stereotypes, and prejudices among and between Muslims and Christians, which are divisive and destructive, adding fire to the volatile Mindanao situation. These relationships, the attitudes, perceptions, stereotypes, and prejudices are dependent variables. The curative and preventive measure in healing those wounds caused by the historic conflict and the religious absolutism, not to allow it to deepen. The culture of dialogue is the way of the Sencil dialogue movement. It is a process to deconstruct the negativity of the past and to re-educate, rediscover, and rethink belief system that is based on love, compassion, forgiveness, and solidarity. It is through this intervening factor that is the culture of dialogue where people find healing. They began to construct bridges of mutual respect and understanding, and go deeper in relationship and reconstructing their communities where they find empowerment and enablement, and in partnership to chart their own destiny. The implication and the relevance of the culture of dialogue, and this is also one of the areas that I would like to focus, to the CO process. It's the title because we want to connect it to the CO process. And the peace-building efforts for community development is seen as complementary, adding substance and essence to both equally important endeavor for future engagement, given the Mindanao fragile condition. But before I will end, I will just give you a few of the titles or brief of my review of literature. Of course, I have mentioned here the historical roots of the Mindanao conflict. I don't have to read to you. It's all, of course, you all know this. And then after this, for the level of, mistrust, misunderstanding, etc., the social divide in Mindanao, and of course in the country. And of course, of all of those problems, there are, of course, people who put forward their analysis of the problems. And there are mentioned here, I have to mention one by one. And after that, another review of literature is the nature of peace building in Mindanao. So for me to have, anchoring in terms of how to sequence my research.
And after the peace experience, etc., from the institution to the community level, also include in this review of literature. And another one I include in my review of literature also the seeking global balance through dialogue. I mentioned here the World Bank. Even the World Bank is also having dialogue with faith communities to have common ground, convergence, how to solve the problems in the world, poverty reduction, the social injustices, etc., etc. And another one is looking at religion as a unifying force, not a dividing force. So this one I include also. And according to Middleman, it's about talking about what's the founders, American nation, the founders, he said, any religion, if we interpret religion in its, dogmatic, doctrinal, etc., etc., we try to divide people. And he is trying to say that we need to go deeper understanding of religion. This is about spirituality. And also about Islam, etc. And then another review of literature I would like to add here from the global, of course, to the Asian context of dialogue. Thank you very much.
Exactly 15 minutes then. Oh, grabe. Anyway,